Hey, it's me, Bob33, and I'm gonna do a bit more wrestling review from now on. Not as much as video game related content on my YouTube channel, but I do want to talk about wrestling here and there. I want to focus mainly on small promotions like VCW, reality wrestling, and maybe some other small independent companies. Uh, if you would like to recommend one, uh, listen in the comments below. I'm not counting stuff like WWE, TNA, New Japan, or Ring of Honor since I think that's big enough that the wrestling community are very familiar with. I want to stick to the company that not a lot of people are too familiar with. And I'm starting with VCW Liberty Lottery 2017. Now, this show was aired back in July. It's available online at Vanguard Championship Wrestling.pivotshare.com. I try to remember to leave a link down below. The subscription is $5 a month. You get to watch uh, all different kinds of matches and events that they have. They do have a 2 weeks free trial, so I would recommend go check it out. Check out this show and all the other contents. I know they got like a Tommy Dreamer versus CW Energy I Quit match, the rematch from from the original ECW match, and there's also former WWE TNA stars that you can check out over there. And don't forget to check out the unfamiliar touts, which I'm going to talk about here. But anyways, let's get on to the first match, which is Ryan Davison versus Ken Dixon versus King Kaora in a triple threat match, and the winner will be the number 20 spot of the Liberty Lottery. Now, the Liberty Lottery is pretty much the Royal Rumble. Pretty much, it starts out with two people, and for every minute, a new person will come out, and the last person in the ring will receive a title shot for any title in that company. Uh, I'm not a big fan of wrestler winning the last spot because A usually tells the people that they're most likely not gonna win, and B that it ruins the surprise. I mean, you can get decent surprises from any other spots, but the last spot is usually supposed to be the biggest surprise, and if you know who's going to be last, even if it's a wrestler that you are a big fan of, it kind of takes away all the excitement. But anyways, as for the match itself, despite being a triple threat match, it's usually they go one on one. They usually throw one opponent out of the ring, and the other two would just go at it for a bit, and then the other guy would come back, throws another person out, and you know more one on one. There's not enough, you know, double team or pretty much any spots for three people, do like some awesome move. So that is a little disappointing. But keep in mind, these guys wrestle in other promotions like Ryan Davison wrestles in reality wrestling. Ken Dixon, I believe, uh, wrestles in American Most Loved Wrestling, AML Wrestling. King Kaora, I'm not too familiar with, other than that he appears in VCW every now and then. So, most likely, these guys are not going to have the best of chemistry. The finish of the match is, oh yeah, it's going to be spoilers, so sorry for not mentioning that earlier. So, if you want to watch the match, remember there's a 2 week free trial, so go check it out. But the winner of the match is Ryan Davison, stole the victory from Ken Dixon, and he is the number 20 spot. A decent opener, nothing too exciting, but it's a decent match. If I have to give it a rating, it'd be 2.5 out of 5. It's just mediocre. Next is the Hellcats, which contains Jimmy Stars and Sexy Steve versus JJ Break and Phil Brown for the VCW Tag Team Champions. Now, Phil Brown and JJ Break beat the Hellcats for those titles in the February event. And in this match, like I noticed right away, there's a big size difference. The Hellcats, both Jamie and Steve, are pretty much cruiserweights, while JJ Break and Phil Brown, although not the biggest guys you're ever going to see in professional wrestling, uh, they look like they are twice their size by comparison. Like, even if the Hellcats double team on one of them, I feel like, the one guy could easily overpower both of them at the same time. Now, for being a new tag team, JJ Break and Phil Brown, that is, they work pretty well. It seems like they, practice a lot. Uh, I guess I was impressed of how much chemistry they actually have. Uh, the match itself is pretty decent. It's your usual tag team match where the babyface, gets the offense first, and then the heels do something to, you know, pretty much cause a distraction and double teams one of the opponents, and it results in the babyfaces getting their hot tag. You've seen pretty much every tag team match. Uh, it was a decent match. Don't get me wrong. It's just there's nothing that stands out about it. I noticed that the Hellcats, uh, well, I put in my paper fights like heavyweights. Uh, I guess I was expecting, well, maybe not high flying moves because they're all heels, and you know doing those moves would probably get a babyface reaction automatically. So I can understand why they wanted to avoid those. But at the same time, they seem to be doing moves that even in kayfabe terms, probably shouldn't be affecting either JJ Break or Phil Brown that badly. But that's just a minor nitpick on my part. They also teased a possible breakup between JJ Break and Phil Brown. Uh, this is before Phil Brown won the U.S. Liberty title on the next show. So possibly they can have a match between those two for that title. But that's just speculation on my part. But anyways, JJ Break and Phil Brown actually retain and still your VCW Tag Team Champions. Next is the VCW Commonwealth Championship match with the champion Gino versus Ricky Reyes, who most people know as Cortez Castro from Lucha Underground. The match starts kind of slow to do a bit of technical wrestling, but the fans are really into it. Uh, the fans were pretty, excited for pretty much all the matches. Uh, Pretty much anything that the wrestler would do, they're pretty much 100% behind it. So that's one thing I like about VCW. They got a dedicated hardcore fan base, and the Liberty event is one of the most popular events out there. So if you want to get into VCW wrestling, I would recommend watching one of the Liberty matches. I never really been disappointed by uh, either one of them. But the match does pick up when they start brawling outside. Uh, and usually, well-known wrestlers like a former WWE guy or TNA guy, or in this case, a Lucha Underground guy, will get some cheer despite being a face or heel. But I think Ricky Reyes did a great job as a heel, gaining the fans to root against him, and Gino is able to get the fans behind him. Not to take anything away from Gino, he did great as well. He's pretty much a fan favorite over there. Uh, there's a lot of decent back and forth. Some decent spots. Nothing too big or dangerous, but it was still a great technical match. Uh, I would say it's contender for match of the night, though that is a bit debatable. I will review that at the end of this review. And Gino retains his Commonwealth title. I could see him being a future champion of VCW. He also, you know, performing Lucha Underground and probably various other promotions that I may not be familiar with. But if Gino has the time to take off reality wrestling and decide to spend more time in VCW, I could see them putting the title on him and have a great run as a VCW heavyweight champion. Uh, Pretty much I give this match a 4 out of 5. Uh, for all the, decent spots, nothing too amazing. There's still a pretty good back and forth, and really they kept me interested. And for two wrestlers who don't do pretty much any high flying moves or incredible spots, and still got me very invested in the match. I think these two do a great job. So, well done, guys. Next, they give us a little break from the action with a Kevin Nash promo, a WWE legend. Uh, he says some funny stuff here and there, nothing really worth noting. I guess compared to Booker T, who appeared uh, last year, uh, Booker T didn't say much either, but at least he introduced some of the wrestlers from his wrestling promotion, Reality Wrestling, which consisted of Rufus Ryan Davison, JJ Brake, Gino, and Mysterious Q. Three of them who appeared in this event, while Mysterious Q, I believe, was still off with an injury. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but then again, I don't think anybody would actually know that. But it was a nice little break from the action from Kevin Nash. The next match is Shannon Moore versus the VCW World Heavyweight Champion Brandon Scott versus manager Jerry Stephanicius. Shannon Moore also had an escort, Lindsay Snow, I believe that's her name. But I'll get to that, in a moment. But I just want to say Brandon Scott has been champion for over 600 days at that point. I've been keeping up with his title reigns here and there. He mostly faces, WWE, former WWE guys, TNA guys, some VCW guys that hasn't appeared for a while, or just came back, like Asafi or Shorty Smalls. Rarely he faces somebody who is currently on the roster that performs on most of the shows. I think the only person that was technically currently on the roster during that time was Damian Rain, Phil Brown. I don't think Dirty Money was making that much appearance in last year's Liberty Lottery. But I feel like he should be facing more people on the current roster, pretty much all I'm saying. But, that's really a fault on the promotion itself, not on, Brandon Scott. Now, the match was, there was a bit of padding, for 2 minutes. Brandon Scott is the coward hero who tried to find his way to get the easy win, and he starts off by exiting the ring, avoiding his opponent. I noticed that his matches does get a bit formulaic. Like, I mean, I know professional wrestlers do, some of the same moves, a lot of times, and that's professional wrestling in general. But I feel like if you've seen one Brandon Scott match, you've seen uh, like most of it. At least in VCW, I'm just talking in VCW. He does wrestle in other promotions like AML Wrestling, but I noticed there's you know he has to stick to that same formula. Uh, all that padding leads to Snow getting ejected for not having a miniature license. So I kind of confused. What's the point of having her out anyways if she's gonna get ejected? You know, like in a couple of minutes, and then there was a bit more padding. Avoiding his opponent. Uh, it was about like 45 minutes of padding, and usually there'd be some kind of payoff, like Brandon Scott would maybe try to escape again, but Shannon Morgan this time do some offensive move, but that did not happen. The match continued as it is. So, well, unless you want to count getting Lacey Snow ejected from the building, which uh, could have been done, like less than a minute. Uh, we There was really nothing that actually paid off, in my opinion. Uh, Shannon Moore, you know, those who are familiar in his WWE career, used to be, I guess, tag team partner with Matt Hardy. Well, not tag team, but, hang out with Matt Hardy back when he was doing the V1 gimmick. Uh, he's actually a pretty good wrestler. Not that he wasn't, not that he was bad, back in WWE or TNA, but uh, he did some pretty good high flying, quick pace move. Uh, I remember most of the stuff that he did more than Brandon Scott, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, Brandon Scott is a decent worker. I know he can do great in the ring. Uh, I remember watching his match in WWE 2013 where he tagged with Tommy Dreamer against Phil Brown and C.W. Anderson, and he did pretty good in that match. But here, it's just feel like he's just going through the motions. That uh, he's not fully invested in the match. I'm sure that he's doing his best and he does care, working to the best of his and his opponent's ability. But I'm just saying that I've seen better from him. Jerry Stephanoulis likes to interfere in the matches. This is how Brandon Scott won most of his title defense matches with interference from Jerry Stephanoulis. But this time Jerry got ejected, which I believe happened, the first time during his title reign. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But most of the time in Brandon Scott's title reign, uh, usually Jerry Stephanoulis gets involved, which, usually what a heel manager does. And I have no problem with that in general because, heels are supposed to cheat. But it does happen one too many times. Uh, Brandon Scott also did kick out of Shannon Moore's finisher. This is the, I believe he calls it the Morgasm. Uh, Not really a good name in my opinion. So hopefully I'm wrong on that. But he did kick out of the finisher. The fans thought that was the end of the match. They were really into it, especially at the end. So it did really pick up. But while the referee was knocked out, Brandon Scott hits Shannon Moore with the VCW heavyweight title, and once the fans thought that was finished, he actually did kicked out. So that got a huge pop. But finally, in a second minute or two, Brandon Scott went for the low blow and went for a rope pin, and that's the finish, which I I don't know. Usually, when you kick out of a devastating move, that usually means that the match will continue on, like at least for a few more minutes. With maybe both wrestlers doing some offense. But I felt like that was like an extra move that wasn't really needed. Like if the match ended with down getting hit with the title, that would have been fine. Or if the match continued on a little bit longer, that would have been fine. But it just reminds me of me playing those WWE games where I picked on one character, tried to dominate the match, hit my finisher, but the computer kicks out, so I had to do my finisher again to make sure he stayed down. Uh, that's what it reminds me of. A slow start, but uh, it finished quite nicely. I would give it 3.5 out of 5. Finally, the main event is the WWE match where the winner gets a title shot for any belt. Last year, winner was Phil Brown, who used that opportunity to uh, go for the tag team title with JJ Brake, and he won that. The year before that was actually Brandon Scott, and he used his title shot for the heavyweight title. Uh, he pretty much used it as a Money in the Bank cash in, like after an intense match between Ronamis and Damian Rain, who was wrestling for the vacated title. Uh, Damian Rain won that match, and then Brandon Scott, who was a babyface at the time, turned heel, uh, got the win, and that's how he became VCW Heavyweight Champion. But anyways, it's pretty much a Royal Rumble match. Uh, Not much. I mean, there was some stuff happening. In the Rumble match, you pretty much don't want to spoil too much. I mean, even though I spoiled the outcome in the match, and I'm going to spoil the outcome of this match, I don't want to give too much away, especially in a match like this. So, what I'm going to say is that, there's a name I recognize there. Some VCW guys, uh, some I guess VCW legend or alumni that I recognize. Uh, I'm gonna mention a few of them here. The match started off with Rob Barnes, uh, new to VCW but uh, recognizable for reality wrestling fans. And the second guy was Ross Hall, uh, who's part of a tag team called the Hall Stars. And there was a bit of continuity, with Jerry Stephanopoulos, who also does commentary. I forgot to mention that Blake Chadwick and Jerry Stephanopoulos are the commentators, and during the match with Brandon Scott, uh, he was the manager, while I believe Timmy Danger filled in the heel commentary spot. So sorry if I forgot to mention that earlier on. But anyways, I was just going to talk about the wrestlers that kind of impressed me. Well, before I do that, I noticed that the timer goes pretty fast. Like I believe it's like a minute or a minute and a half to the next competitor comes in, but it feels like it's less than that. And sometimes it's hard for the commentators to keep up with the action, and that ring filled up. It took a while to somebody to eliminate somebody. Uh, Even though Rob Barnes did get eliminated pretty quickly, uh, but that ring filled up so much that the commentators could barely keep up with the action, and I think uh, that's one thing that VCW needs to fix is to make sure that there's not too many guys, that there's enough time for the match. I feel like they were just bringing guys out there really fast because well, even though they're not on television, only on the internet network, Uh, Technically, they don't have a time limit, but they feel like that they want to get this show done at a specific time, and this is rush all these guys out there. Uh, uh, there's a new guy called Irvin Legend. Uh, he's pretty much booked as the underdog babyface. Uh, he's been feuding with a guy called the Juggernaut, which uh, he may not be the tallest guy, but he's got this like intimidating look. He's pretty swollen. Uh, I won't call it like full of muscles, like a Lex Luger, but I guess more like a Mark Henry, but more muscle than fat, if that makes any sense. I'd like to see that guy in the reality of wrestling. I think he'd be like a great dominant heel. Unfortunately, well, the Juggernaut did stay in pretty long in that match. Uh, he did get eliminated by Evan Legend, who pretty much got his revenge for the last two match with the Juggernaut dominated. Uh, to be fair, Evan did get some help with leading to another match that happened, right after Liberty Lottery, the next show that is. But still, I feel like the Juggernaut should be booked as like VCW version of Brock Lesnar, like just causing destruction here and there. That's if I was running the promotion. Um, Marcellus Prime has a great look. Uh, Now he looks like an ex Luger. If I was running the promotion, I would try to make him the top babyface, almost like the face of the company. The only thing is that I'm not sure how he's good on the mic. I don't think I really heard him cut a promo, but he does have a great look, and if Vincent Mann was there, he'd probably try to snatch him up. Uh, a VCW alumni named Crotch. I believe he was the winner of the first Liberty Lottery match, which was also for the U.S. Liberty Lottery, the U.S. Liberty title. Unfortunately, he got like a small reaction compared to the other wrestlers. Uh, there were some cheers and a little welcome back chant, so it wasn't complete dead silent. But my friend TWK, who was at the event and a big fan of VCW and Crush himself, he felt like he should have got a bigger reaction. Uh, Personally, I'm not a fan of the guy myself, but I, I thought he would at least get a stronger reaction. Uh, there's a spot between Asafi and Big Sean Studd. They were teaming up together, taking out guys left and right. Uh, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but if you know you're a professor of wrestling, you know that doesn't usually last too long. Liver the Crown is feuding with a guy named Timmy Danger and his manager Neil Snarky. Liver into the match first, and Timmy Danger came out like a little bit afterwards. And Liver the Crown was just hiding outside the ring, waiting for his opportunity. And I'm not gonna say what he did to Neil Snarky, but he got him good. But yeah, most of the wrestlers, unless you're familiar with VCW, most likely you're not going to recognize a lot of them. But maybe you would. I don't know. But these are guys that are pretty talented, and if you can be able to watch some of their single matches or tag team matches, I'm sure you're going to be entertained by them. Although the one thing I would complain is that there's not really any big stars. And by big stars, I mean, uh, not like, internet famous or, well known by the wrestling communities. I'm talking about guys, even in the VCW company itself. I feel like they're not main eventers, at least not yet. There's plenty of guys who can do well in the main event if given the opportunity and given some more time, either cutting some more promos or put them in higher profile match like, maybe the heavyweight title match. I think they could really carry the company and bring VCW to, newer heights. But the winner is Benjamin Banks, who used to be a part of Jerry Stephanese's gang, but ever since he's been on a bit of a losing streak, pretty much Jerry fired him. But now he's a babyface, uh, and Benjamin Bank pretty much won that match, so that means he gets the title of his choice. I don't want to spoil anything uh, afterwards. From the well, as of this recording, the two shows that VCW did. At first, I thought it's going to be the obvious, like, most people thought that he's going after this person or this title, but well, I think Prince may have changed, and there's something caused it to uh, pretty much change back. Uh, Now it's kind of a mystery what Benjamin Banks did. I'm a bit of a fan of Benjamin Banks. I think he's pretty good at the mic. Has a decent look, though. I think he'd be better as a like a dominant heel than a babyface. I mean, not that he doesn't play the role as a babyface terribly. I think he does a decent job. Uh, but I think a guy his size would work better as a heel. But that's just me. But uh, Benjamin Banks is a guy that I really am a fan of, ever since he came to VCW. Uh, I feel like he could have been big better, before, the Liberty victory, but I guess better late than never, I suppose. And maybe, uh, you know, the matches he have after this show will help him be more invested in him winning the title of his choice. But anyways, that's it for VCW Liberty Lottery 2017. The Liberty Lottery match itself is a 3.5 out of 5. Uh, and I'll probably give this whole show a 3.5 out of 5. I wouldn't say it's the best of the Liberty Lottery show. I think it was better than last year, just a bit. But I feel like VCW needs to do a better job making their own stars and not relying too heavy on former WWE TNA legends. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea automatically to have WWE and TNA legends, to pretty much promote your show, get like a bigger attendance, and maybe get the small guys some more recognitions. But I feel like you need to put those guys into bigger roles pretty much. But anyways, I do recommend watching the show. Like I said earlier in this video, they do have a 2-week free trial, so I recommend go check it out. And hopefully you like this review in general. If you got like a small wrestling promotion you want me to look at and do a review of, please say so in the comments below. This is me, Bobby33, and I catch you guys later.